Hello everyone, apologies for the wet look, I just shaved and showered. But before I get into the review, I would like to dedicate this opening segment to someone I deeply care about. This review is dedicated to my boyfriend Jensen, who got me this beautiful set. The set I have been yearning for and pining for years, since I was a child. And he graciously decided to give me this gift for Christmas, and he got this for under around $30ish, like under $30, and he got this beautiful set. So, darling, I would like to give you a special thanks. This review is dedicated to you. I love you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Streed's Guide to Fraggle Rock, and today I'm reviewing Season 2, Episode 11, The Wizard of Fraggle Rock. This episode starts out with Doc startling Sprocket awake, bringing out a chest from the attic belonging to his great-uncle, vaudeville magician known as the Great Doc, who performed magic tricks with his dog, the Great Pooch. I like to think this is where Doc got his namesake and the inclination to get a dog of his own. Anyways, Doc shows Sprocket a feat of prestidigitation, aka a magic trick.
Come on, I'll escape from these ropes like my ancestor used to. That's it, Sprocket. Don't be nice to me. Put some muscle into it. Oh, nice job, Sprocket. Now watch the old master escape. Voila!
We cut to Fraggle Rock, and the Fraggles are celebrating Trophy Day, with Gobo receiving a trophy for spotting a poisoned cackler without it spotting him, which is a brilliant form of foreshadowing at play. Wembley's nervous and hesitant to pick a trophy until he reluctantly decides to pick the one he always does, a trophy for the best shirt with banana trees on it, and then accidentally gets it stuck in some doozer glue, causing the poor guy to wish he wasn't himself. Suddenly, the infamous wizard arrives, somewhat disquieted, putting on a great show for the Fraggles in the form of a gospel-coded song.
Is it true there is magic that we have never known? Is it true there are powers that we can call our own? Is it true there is someone whose wonders stand alone? Is it true what they say? Is it true?
Is it true?
Not because they told me so.
Is it true?
Not because the story's old.
Is it true?
Not do you really know.
Is it true?
Not do you feel it grow.
Is it true?
Now I see it with my eyes. Now I see the glory rise. Now I know the reason why.
Anyways, the wizard spots Wembley and immediately picks him to be the volunteer for his next trick, and somehow manages to make a ball appear out of his mouth. Don't ask me how, I haven't the foggiest. Sometime later, Wembley's looking for the wizard and he suddenly appears. The wizard catches on to the fact that Wembley desires recognition, and the wizard himself desires peace and quiet, so he proposes a switch and reveals something that'll shock the banana trees off his shirt.
Surprise! No one will ever notice the difference.
Back in the workshop, while tinkering with the Great Doc's magic props, Sprocket finds himself tied up while Doc attempts to fix the issue, only making it worse. We return to Fraggle Rock, and Wembley's now dressed for the part as the wizard and vice versa. He uses some doozer glue to stick the beard on, and Wembley's elated to finally get some attention. But in a faraway cave, something menacing seems to be lurking towards the rock. We return to the rock, and Boober encounters Wembley and the wizard. Boober notices something on a tray and shows concern for the faux Wembley, thinking he looks quite ill. Gobo arrives, and the wizard reads a postcard from Uncle Matt. Matt finds himself in a beauty salon, mistaking it for some kind of hat spot, and gets his hair done the Chrissy Latham style. Afterwards, one of the wizard's cronies warns that the cackler is inching closer, and Wembley gives him directions to his cave. The wizard tells Wembley that if he's ever in trouble to use his trusty smoke pellets, and we're shown a quick shot of the cackler on his trail. Meanwhile, the wizard's enjoying some leisure time until Wembley's friends arrive in an attempt to cheer him up. The wizard feigns illness, but this only exacerbates the situation, with the Fraggles forcing him to take a walk to lift his spirits. Back in the Great Hall, Wembley's doing his best to fill the wizard's shoes until he's told that the wizard is being pursued by a bloodthirsty poisoned cackler.
I gotta get out of this costume or the poison cackler will get me. I'll just get the spirit off and then wait a minute, it's stuck. Oh no, the beard won't come off. I'm the wizard and the poison cackler is after me.
Back in the workshop, Doc and Sprocket are both tied up when suddenly the phone rings, sparking panic in Doc at the thought of Schimmelfinny finding him in this embarrassing position. We return to Gobo and Wembley's room, and Wembley suddenly bursts in, telling everyone that he's the real Wembley, and the faux Wembley is actually the wizard. Unfortunately, no one believes him and he's thrown right out. Poor Wembley desperately tries to disappear, and we see the others have made a trophy dedicated to him for being their friend. This touches Wembley, and he's finally had enough of the wizard's shit and forces him out of his bed to tell the truth. They return to the Great Hall, and just before Wembley's able to explain, the dreaded poisoned cackler finally arrives.
Wait, you're making a terrible mistake, see, because he's really the wizard. No, I know I look like the wizard. Well, I even have his beard, but...
We briefly cut to the Doozer Tower crumbling due to the failed glue test, and this is actually a clever nod back to all work and all play, when Cotterpin suggested her buildings be shaped hexagonically. Just when the cackler is on the verge of attack, the two discover that it wasn't after the wizard, it was after his smoke pellets, which gives Wembley a brilliant idea.
Hey, cackler! Take the whole thing! Boy, he sure likes those smoke pellets.
Afterwards, the Fraggles realize that Wembley is who he says he is and give the real wizard a firm talking to, and he decides to abandon his wizardish ways in pursuit of selling Banana Tree t-shirts. We return to the workshop, and Doc and Sprocket are luckily freed, but pretty embarrassed due to Schimmelfinny's incessant laughter.
Well, I guess we weren't cut out to be magicians. Yep, you and I are just a dog and his man, but that's good enough for me. Is it good enough for you, Sprocket? I guess our dreams of being the great Doc and the great Sprocket have gone up in smoke. Literally.
This was a pretty fun entry that's held up mainly by its characters, although it's undeniable that the lesson for this one is a retread of previous entries such as I Wanna Be You. It's an episode about self-acceptance and realizing that you're more important to your friends than you may think. The plot itself is also your typical generic switcheroo, with nothing fresh to set it apart from other switcheroo stories. However, I don't want to make it sound like I dislike this episode at all. There's actually a lot to love here. For one, the wizard himself walks the line of both being detestable and lovable. You detest him because he's trying to set up Wembley to save his own ass, and you love him because the guy seems a bit down on his luck, wishing he could escape fame in pursuit of a more peaceful existence. The suspense is also through the roof, with you feeling the poison cackler's menace throughout the entire runtime. I've gotta say, I love its terrifying design. It genuinely looks startling. I commend the puppeteers for operating such a complex creature. Overall, while flawed, this was a very fun and entertaining entry. The characterization ultimately makes up for its predictability and the lack of original concepts. I'm gonna rate this one a reasonable doozer stick. Well guys, that was the review, and I will see you all next time.